What's up guys, my name is Brandon and today we're going to be taking a quick break from the iOS 12 jailbreak content if you guys missed it. Yes, there is a jailbreak now for iOS 12 through 12.1.2, so if you missed any of that coverage, definitely just check my latest videos here on the channel. I've been talking about it a lot. But anyways, I know I neglected my iOS beta family, so here is an update on iOS 12.2 beta 3, which was released early last week. Now of course I have been using iOS 12.2 beta 3 on my daily driver, the iPhone XS Max. I've also been using it here on the iPhone XR occasionally, and of course I wanted to let you guys know how it's been running for me overall. We're going to discuss some more new changes I discovered. We're going to discuss the battery life, the performance, the LTE and the Wi-Fi connectivity, and also a strange bug that I experienced on my iPhone XS Max. Alright, so first of all, let's talk about some more new changes here in iOS 12.2 beta 3. You guys know in my initial video I did show you a lot of changes, including the all new settings general about page. You can see here it looks a lot different, a lot better, more clean than it used to, and there were some other changes as well. But let's get into some of the lesser important features, just some of the more minor changes to the OS. So the first one's going to be inside of the wallet application, and the whole wallet application has a new look, especially if you have a card already added into the wallet here. And I believe this has to do with Apple partnering with Goldman Sachs for a new credit card. You can see here in this article by the Wall Street Journal, it says the card will be rolled out to employees for testing in the next few weeks and officially launched later this year. The companies hope to lure cardholders by offering them extra features on Apple's Wallet app, which will let them set spending goals, track the rewards, and manage their balances. And I will leave a link to this down in the description below if you want to read more about this, but there are definitely some changes to the wallet application. I'm sure more are going to be changing as well. More changes are going to be happening inside the wallet application once this new credit card comes out. Now, another change that has to do with music is if you have an Apple Music subscription, you'll notice that the music videos actually play inline now, and they'll show up like you see right here where it shows now playing this little border right here. The music video would actually play right there instead of just going full screen, which is pretty cool. And then another change inside of the music application is this splash screen right here. Whenever you add new music to your library from the computer, you can see it says to listen to this offline, tap one more time to download it, and it has a little arrow pointing to OK. Not really sure why it has to take up so much room to tell you that, but that is new here in iOS 12.2 beta 3. Seems like there is a focus on the music application for whatever reason, although I do hope that this gets completely revamped. I hope the music application has a whole new look, a much better look in iOS 13. Now, another minor change is inside of settings. If we go all the way down to Apple Store, Siri and search, you can see we now have a toggle for find interests and other apps, and it says Siri can suggest today at Apple sessions based on your Safari and app usage, which is pretty cool. Not really sure how much I'm going to use that, but I'm sure somebody out there is happy to see this. So yeah, that's pretty much it for everything changed here in iOS 12.2 beta 3. So let's move on to some of the more important stuff like the battery life, like the performance, the Wi-Fi connectivity, all that good stuff. So let's start off with the performance, and I will tell you that the performance on iOS 12.2 beta 3 has not been that great. I did have 2 random reboots on the beta here on my iPhone XS Max, my daily driver, and for the record, I didn't have any random reboots on any beta version at all on my iPhone XS Max ever. So 12.2 beta 3, for whatever reason, it happened twice, days apart from each other. So it wasn't just like one issue continuously happening. Happened twice on my iPhone XS Max, which is really annoying. And I'm also not sure why, but there is a slight stutter when going in between applications. And I don't actually get that here on my iPhone XR. So not really sure what the issue is there. Maybe because it's, my iPhone XR, I don't use as much and I don't put as much stress on the iPhone XR. But there's definitely a slight little stutter here in beta 3 on the XS Max. Now, when it comes to the battery life, that is a different story. So I'm going to bring up my battery settings here on my iPhone XS Max. And by the way, the reason I don't have my XS Max here on the dock is because since I have a screen protector on there, it has this really weird effect on the camera and the quality is not as good on the screen. And my iPhone XR doesn't have a screen protector. So somebody asked about that before, and I know people have probably wondered why I do that. That is why. So anyways, here is the battery section here on my iPhone XS Max. Let's go to our last 10 days. You can see I'm averaging about 5 hours and 49 minutes of screen on time and about 45 minutes of screen off time, which is actually really good. And it's much better than the first 2 betas. I actually only had the second beta on my XS Max but it was better than the first beta was on my 10R. So I'm definitely really pleased with the battery life here on 12.2 beta 3. I love that I have over 20% of battery life left every single time before I go to bed. Every day before I go to bed, I don't ever get the alert for low battery. I never even get to 20%, which is a beautiful sight because I was getting that even on the final version of 12.1.3, 12.1.4, and 12.2 beta 2. So I hope Apple doesn't mess with anything because I want the battery life on the final version of 12.2 to be this good. When it comes to the LTE and the Wi-Fi connectivity, this also seems to have been improved with beta 3. Now my LTE coverage has been fine on 12.2, but my Wi-Fi connectivity on the second beta was all over the place. I would have random drops of my Wi-Fi, I would fail to connect. I wouldn't even be able to see my Wi-Fi network inside of settings sometimes. You guys saw that video I showed you, and I just had a lot of problems with Wi-Fi, even on 12.2. I had this on previous versions of iOS 12 as well, but mainly here on 12.2 and also the final version of 12.1.3. Well, now thankfully on iOS 12.2 beta 3, it now not only doesn't drop every single night, my Wi-Fi does not drop every single night like it did before, but it also connects right back quick to my Wi-Fi network when it does drop. It doesn't sit there and wait forever and sometimes not show up in settings. It'll reconnect pretty quickly to my Wi-Fi network again. Now I do want to point out that I do seem to have better results when I'm using my 2.4 gigahertz band instead of my 5 gigahertz band. Now it is slower, but sometimes I do have to use it because it doesn't drop. And I've also seen numerous people say this in forums as well. So if you are having Wi-Fi issues, maybe try switching to your 2.4 gigahertz band if you have both bands and see if it improves. And then finally, I did want to tell you guys about a bug that I experienced twice since iOS 12.2 beta 3 was released on my iPhone XS Max. And this is not a bug that I could have recorded, and it's also not something that I could reproduce. Now, the bug is that all my system sounds would just be completely gone. I wouldn't be able to hear my ringtone. If I turned it up, if I turned it down, no matter what I did, my lock sounds, text sounds, phone calls, anything, I wouldn't be able to hear it. And nothing would fix that, and it would never fix itself until I rebooted the device and then booted it back up and everything was back to normal. So it's really weird. Like I said, I didn't have a click noise on my keyboard. I didn't have a lock sound. I couldn't hear any of my notifications coming through, anything. And I tried everything. It was just really weird. Again, I've never even had this on any beta version ever. So hope Apple does fix that. I'm sure they will. And let me know if you guys ran into any kind of bug like that. It seems pretty weird. I didn't see anybody else have it, but let me know if you did. Now, speaking of the next beta, when can we expect iOS 12.2 beta 4? And I'd say that we can probably expect that on March 5th, which would be exactly 2 weeks after the release of beta 3. And then of course, we will probably see the final version either on or around March 25th when Apple hosts their event. Of course, I will be able to give you a more accurate prediction once we get closer to that time. But anyways, guys, there you go. That is my follow-up video on iOS 12.2 beta 3. Overall, really good. I'm really pleased with the battery life performance. Could use a little bit of work. I did have random reboots and a little bit of a stutter. Wi-Fi connectivity seems to be better. Everything besides performance seems to be great here so far in 12.2. So hopefully these last few betas do polish it up and we get a really successful release with 12.2. I hope it's a lot better than iOS 12.1.3 and 12.1.4, which wouldn't be hard because those versions were terrible, but we shall see. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Also make sure to subscribe for a lot more of coverage on the iOS beta versions. Of course, I will be going back to jailbreak content soon as well. I'll be going back and forth between both just so I don't leave any of you guys hanging. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching the video, and I'll see you soon.